Major League Soccer is about to make its return, which means more Messi mania for Inter Miami and MLS fans. Let's talk some Messi mania and much more. And we're going to do that with Jake Zivin, play-by-play broadcaster for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Jake, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. We're so close to the season starting officially. Preseason already underway for Inter Miami on their global tour. Offseason went by just like that.
Yeah, it just felt like the season ended a minute ago, but it was a couple months ago, but here we are, right back at it. Jake, I want to start with Messi and Inter Miami because we saw the impact that Messi had on the team and how fans came out on the road to see him play last season. What are you expecting to see from the Argentinian great in his second MLS season?
More of the same off the field. And I think more of the same on the field. No doubt it will be more of the same off the field. When he came to New York, Red Bull Arena, that was one of the most surreal atmospheres I've been in. He started that match on the bench, and for the whole game, the whole stadium was chanting his name until he came into the game. The biggest cheer was when he got up to warm up, and then, of course, the goal that was scored at the very end. It was like that everywhere he went last year. And the success was immediate on the field. For Inter Miami, they won Leagues Cup, this magical run. You couldn't have scripted it any better for the way Lionel Messi started his time in Miami and North America. Can they do it again, now with a full season? Now they're really going to be judged based on how they perform in MLS regular season play and into the playoffs. They're a favorite to win everything. It'll be interesting to see. The preseason hasn't gone great from a results perspective. Once they get into the grind of the season, we'll see how they do.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they do and if they can build off of some of the momentum they had last year winning the Leagues Cup. It should be very interesting to watch Inter Miami. Now, you just mentioned it. The preseason's underway. They played some big friendlies, including a match against Al Nassr. Now, that match was supposed to be the likely final meeting between the two longtime rivals and soccer greats, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Al Nassr routed Inter 6-0, but how disappointed were you, if you were, to let me know, that you didn't get to see Messi versus Ronaldo? Because I was disappointed. I was like, this is what we want to see.
Look, as a commentator, we try to take a very neutral approach to everything, right? So we weren't as disappointed as the literal hundreds of millions of Messi and Ronaldo fans that thought they were going to see this last dance between two era-defining players in this sport. But yeah, of course, it was a little disappointing. We wanted to see that. I don't know if I'll say this. I don't know that I was convinced it would have been the last dance. I think there will always be a next one because this is the greatest individual rivalry, I think, in sports history. And that's always going to be something people want to see. So yeah, of course, we would have loved to see Messi versus Ronaldo. We didn't. Ronaldo couldn't play because of a calf injury. Messi, a little bit of a precautionary injury as well. He was held out, only played 10 minutes in that game. And it wasn't a good game for Inter Miami. They lost 6-0 to Al Nassr. So some questions coming out of that game, I think, that have nothing to do with Messi versus Ronaldo and have a lot to do with Inter Miami, especially defensively.
Yeah, they have some concerns about their defense. They're giving up 6 goals. Jake, I want to talk to you about New York soccer fans and what they should expect this season, okay? You got the Red Bulls, NYCFC. Yep. What should NYC soccer fans expect from both of these clubs this season?
I think improvement, right? I think both teams will have higher expectations this year. We'll start with New York City FC. We're only 2 years and 2 months removed from them winning MLS Cup. The next year, they got back to the Eastern Conference Final. Last year, an extremely young roster, a roster that never really felt complete, and they didn't make the playoffs. I think there's acknowledgement that that roster wasn't complete. They've retained Nick Cushing. They're going to give him another year, and they've made some signings this offseason that seem to kind of fill some of those holes. So there will be expectations with New York City for them to be back, I think, as a contender in the East. For the Red Bulls, they extended their record playoff streak just barely on the last day, made it into the playoffs. They won the wild card game before getting swept in round 1. They went very young last year. So did New York City. They were the 2 youngest teams in the league when last season started. Made a huge signing in the offseason with Swedish star Emil Forsberg, who played so well, had so many great years for Red Bull Leipzig, a big club over in Germany. He's going to bring a lot of experience that I think they were missing last year, kind of that leader, that general on the field, especially in the attack. Defense was great last year. The attack wasn't. New manager in Sandro Schwartz. So I think expectations for the Red Bulls that they'll go back to being a contender in the East as they were for so many years, and probably New York City will feel the same way.
All right, back to contention. That is good news for the New York sports fans and improvement, like you said. They hope. They hope. Yeah. That is the hope you've given them there, Jake. Just a little bit of hope. All right, last thing for me. Looking at the rest of the league, I got to ask you about the upcoming season, which is just weeks away. We saw the Columbus Crew take home the title last season. Will the Crew go back-to-back, or do you see a new favorite to be crowned MLS Champs in 2024?
So look, the favorite is going to be Inter Miami. When you have Lionel Messi, when you have Luis Suarez added to Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba, MLS has never seen a collection of talent like this in its long history, almost 30-year history. So they'll be the favorites. They'll be the betting favorites. They'll be the pundits' favorites. They'll be, I think, kind of the fans' favorites. I don't know that they should be, though. We'll see. The Columbus Crew have got to feel like, why not us? They're back. They were so good at the end of last year. Wilfried Nancy, their manager, is invigorating in his style and his aggressiveness and his faith in his players. They were playing at such a high level at the end of that season. They're basically returning everybody. No reason to think they won't pick up right where they left off. And I think they should be considered the favorites until Inter Miami proves that they can get the results throughout a grind of a season and in the regular season. So, yeah, why not the Columbus Crew? But look, there's a lot of really good teams around the league. The Eastern Conference especially was so good last year. It's just getting better. FC Cincinnati, Philadelphia will reload. They'll be back. Orlando will go on. You got the big teams out west like LAFC, Seattle, the Galaxy improving, trying to come back. It should be a really good year in MLS.
Yeah, it should be a good year. And I wonder if the Crew feel like they're being disrespected a little bit here, especially
I think
since
they like it that way, though. I think
do.
they like to be a little under the radar, have a chip on their shoulder, and prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, and you'll see if the chemistry can come together for Inter Miami through the grind of the season, as you mentioned. That is Jake Zivin, play-by-play broadcaster for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Check him out there and all the great MLS games. Jake, good to talk some MLS soccer with you. We'll talk some more down the road. Thank you, my man.
Thanks so much.